I'm going to try and put together a summary if I can. It's like I got to see the entire movie from beginning to end, and now as I'm rewinding it and putting all the pieces together, the goal of all the mystical teachings, the goal of all the biblical teachings, was to lead us back to our soul, was meant to lead us back to becoming fully conscious of our soul, of our body, of our mind, of our spirit in totality. And whatever was taught in ancient times, those teachings and practices were like the pieces to a 5,000 or 10,000 piece puzzle. And with each age, several clusters of the puzzle pieces fit together, and they kind of shaped one corner of the picture, but the whole picture, I don't believe, has ever come into full view like it is now, because we are, I guess, approaching the high point, the golden age, as far as consciousness is concerned, in the age of Aquarius, where all of these things are going to become known at an absolute level. One could say this is the age in which the puzzle is going to be solved and completed. So the purpose was for us to ingather the pieces of our soul, the pieces of our consciousness, and collect them as a whole. That which we understand as the gospel in Christianity. It was never about worshipping a God or Jesus, a deity up in heaven, external of ourselves. It wasn't about worshipping. In fact, worshipping is part of the deception and delusion that keeps us separate from our own soul. As I pull together all the different healing modalities that mankind, that humanity has gathered and employed, whether that is psychotherapy under Carl Jung's research, whether that is hypnotherapy, quantum hypnotherapy, whether it's psychedelics, whether it's out-of-body experiences, whether it is plant medicine. All of these things have given us fragments, whether it's near-death experiences. As I pull all of these strands, these spokes of the wheel together into the center point, I'm realizing that these modalities all point to the same thing, and that is our conscious soul. And we have been unconscious of the soul for aeons because our past life traumas kept accumulating over lifetimes and over lifetimes because we didn't remember. We didn't wake up to past lives. Now we are getting knowledge, remembrance of past lives, and this helps us to understand the shadow side of the human psyche, the memories, the events that have taken place, which are the primary driver to all the conscious choices that we make in this life. In fact, none of the things that we choose, we think we're choosing, they're actually not conscious. They are driven by the subconscious, but we are not aware of it and we don't know why. We don't even know why we make certain choices. We don't even know why we would adopt a religious belief, why we would become Christian. We have no clue what drives us to becoming a Christian, what drives us to seeking forgiveness. We're not aware of our quote-unquote guilt. We just feel from our subconscious, we feel this subconscious guilt and shame about ourselves, but we don't know why those feelings are there. And with all the modalities that we have now, that have been available for the last, 100 years, we've made great progress. And we're understanding our subconscious. We're understanding trauma. And we can now unravel these subconscious feelings that are at work in us, that make us addicted, that make us overeat, that make us dress a certain way, and on and on and on. Everything is driven by subconscious feelings that were formed around events in the past. And let me come back to the Christian gospel of what that all was. In a roundabout way, the theme of forgiveness was so that we would find our soul and forgive ourselves once and for all, and come into the realization that we weren't really sinners. We were carrying the baggage of trauma. And these unconscious feelings that we thought was us, was our fault, and which made us act in a hostile manner, in a defensive manner. And we identified with the behavior, not knowing what was driving it from within our subconscious. Our subconscious created feelings based around what was done to us. What was done to us in our environment, through abuse, through neglect, and it all got stored in our psyche and it got sequestered away. And we think we are these angry, nasty people because we feel this injustice coming from inside and we don't know why, because we don't remember. So the whole point of Christianity was meant to absolve the soul, to absolve us from our guilt and shame. It wasn't meant so that we would worship a god. This forgiveness was meant to stick. It belongs to us, right? And once you gain soul consciousness, you will never sin again because you understand sin. That sin is merely the division of the conscious and subconscious mind. They're not working as one, and why we have no remembrance. That's why we are in darkness or in ignorance. The darkness was the non-remembrance of our subconscious memories. And so, yeah, never was Christianity meant to become a religion. Never was the death of Jesus meant to become a religion and not become a Lord that we would follow. If you still follow Jesus, you have not accepted forgiveness of your soul in full. You still hold your soul responsible for something somewhere that does not allow you to fully release yourself and embrace yourself and think of yourself in the highest divine order. As long as you still cling to Jesus, you still have shadows where you are not fully trusting the divinity of your own soul. This forgiveness is for your soul. And it was intended to help us recognize our divine state. That we're not guilty. That we didn't do wrong. And that we are fully justified.